Hello, welcome to this channel Gain Java Knowledge, and today in this video we will discuss about java.lang.object class methods. And as we know, the most common methods which are required for any Java object are encapsulated into a separate class, which is nothing but java.lang object class. And the object class is the parent class for all Java classes, so that its methods are by default available to every Java class automatically. And here we can see, here I have created one class, that is employee class, and we can get all methods of object class here, and we can override these methods. Object, and here we can see the methods that are provided by object class, that is get class, hashcode, equals, clone, toString, notify, wait, and finalize. These are the 11 methods that are provided by java.lang object class, and this one is the constructor that is provided by object class, that is zero parameterized constructor. And object class defines the following 11 methods that are here. Okay, we will start discussion about first one, that is toString method. And the toString method, we can use this method to find the string representation of object, and this method will be return a string representation of the object, and these are the signatures of toString method, that is public string toString method, and we can override this method in our class also. For example, we have a class that is employee class, and this class contains two property, that is private int id, private string name, and here we will use parameterized constructor, and we'll also generate its setter and getter methods. Select all and click on generate. So here we have generated its setter getter methods. Now we can also generate its constructor using fields, and here what I will do, here I will create the object for employee class, employee1, and new employee, and this is the id 1, and here we need to pass the name of employee, that is java employee. So here if I will print just the reference of this employee object, then it will automatically call to the toString method. So here now I will run this application, and here we can see the output, that is the object reference output, because when we have printed this statement, this reference will automatically call toString method, like this toString method, and here we can see the representation of toString method that is provided by object class. It will return the get class and class name, and will add at the rate, and then it will print integer to hex string, that of hashcode value. So here it was the output, that is class name, then at the rate, and this was the 2 hex string value. And if we want to provide our own string representation, then we have to override the toString method, that is very highly recommended. And if we want to print here the employee name and its id, then we must need to override the toString method. Now we will override toString method here, so we can see the output. Here we are going to overriding the toString method provided by object class. So here I will return the id employee ID So here now I will run this application. It will just print the employee ID and name. It will not print this value. Now I will again run this application. And here we can see we have overridden the toString method that is provided by object class. Now we can see our own string representation employee ID 1 and employee name is Java. And in all classes like string, string buffer, and in all wrapper classes, toString method is already overridden to return the proper string form. Hence, it is highly recommended to override the toString method in our class. And the second method is hashcode method. And a unique ID that is assigned to an object is known as hashcode of the object, and this is the signature of hashcode function provided by object class. So here we can see implementation that is provided by object class, that is public native int hashcode. And for every object, JVM will assign one unique ID that is nothing, that is hashcode value. And JVM uses this hashcode value while we are saving our object into hash table or hash set or in hash map. And based on our requirement, we can also override the hashcode method in our own class. And the hashcode method will be executed and which generates hashcode based on the address of the object. But whenever we are overriding hashcode method, then hashcode is no longer related to the address of the object. So here we will override the hashcode function of the object class. And here we will return value according to our own requirement. So here I will return the employee ID. Return ID as a hashcode value. So here if I will print the hashcode value of the object, that is employee1 dot hashcode, but before overriding we need to check this value. If we will not override this function, then what will be the output? We can see here this was the hashcode value provided by object class, and this is nothing but this is a one unique ID that is provided by JVM, and we can override this hashcode function and can return value according to our requirement. So now I will run this application again after overriding the hashcode function, and now we can see the hashcode of the object is value 1. So this is the way to override the hashcode function, and we must need different hashcode value for every object. And here we can see and now we will discuss the third one, that is equals method, and we can use this method to check the equality of an object, and this is the signature of this equals method, public boolean equals, and it will return true or false. And here we can check the equality of two objects by using equals method. So first here we can see the equals method that is provided by object class, that is the function, and this is meant for reference comparison, because here equals method are using equal to operator, and this is mainly used for to reference comparison of object. and the reference object with which to compare, and here it will return the same as the object. For example, here we have one class, that is employee class, and if we will create two objects of employee class like this, we will copy it from here and paste it here. Now here we can see we have created three employee object, and here the ID is 2 and the name will be different. So here I will create one more employee, that is employee 4 and new, and here I will just referencing this object employee 1. So here if I will compare employee 1 dot equals to employee 2, now what will be the output here? Because employee 1 have ID 1 and name is Java, and employee 2 is ID 2 and name is Gain, so it will return false. Because both objects are different and also referencing to different. So if I will compare employee 1 compare with employee 3, both have the same ID and same name, but both are referencing to the different objects, because here we are using new operator to create the object and here also using new operator. So these are two different objects, and equal to operator meant for reference comparison, so it will also return false. But here it should return true because both have the same name and ID. Then it should return true, but it's not returning true. So we can override to equals method. And if we will compare employee 1 with employee 4, then it will return some different value, that will be the true, because here the same object is referencing by employee 1 and employee 4. So here it will return the true. But here we can see in the above code, object class dot equals method will be executed, and which is always meant for the reference comparison. That is, if two referencing pointing to the same object, then only dot equals method return true, and this behavior is exactly same as the dot equal to operator, because object class equals method internally using equal to operator that is meant for reference comparison. And if we want to perform content comparison, like if both objects have same content, then it must return true. Then we need to override the equals method in our class. So here now I will override the equals method of object class and make it for to check the content comparison. If the content of both object is same, then it must return true. So here now I will override to equals method, that is equals, and will make it to check content comparison, not reference comparison. So what I will do here, first here I will use employee object reference here, employee emp, that is equal to, and here I will use object, and here we need to typecast it here. So here I will copy it, and here we have created the employee object from this object, and here I will check the comparison. If the name dot equals name dot equals, and I will get the name from employee object, get name, and will compare to the name, and also check here if id of the employee id is equal to employee dot get id. If both are matching, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. And here I will use try catch block. If there will be any exception like casting exception, then we'll also return the false. So here I will use catch block, and it will use to handle the exception. If there will be any exception, then it will return false. So in catch block I will return false. And like this we have overridden the equals method to make it like content comparison. Now if I will run this application again, now we have overridden equals method of object class to make it as content comparison. So here we can see the response. Now it's returning true for employee 1 and employee 3 because both have same ID and same name. So this was the main requirement to override the equals method. If we want to make object as content comparison, then it will return true. Then we need to override equals method. And the next one is finalize method, and we can use finalize method that is called by the garbage collector on an object when garbage collection determines that there are no more references to the object. And these are the signatures of finalize method, that is protected, void, finalize, throwable. So here we can see this method, that is finalize method, and this is protected, void, finalize, throws. And just before destroying the object, garbage collector finalize method to perform the cleanup activity used. So this method's main activity is to perform the cleanup activities, and this function called by garbage collector. And the next one is get class, and it returns the runtime class of this object, and the returned class object is the object that is locked by static synchronized method of the represented class. And these are the signatures of public final class get class. And this method return the runtime class definition of the object, and the runtime object type we can check here. Here we have created employee class, and if I will here call to the function that is get class, so here employee1 dot get class dot get name, and here we can get the name of the class that we will get at runtime. So here we can see that is the com.gain Java knowledge employee class. So get class function is mainly used to get the name of the class. And this is the clone method that is used to create and return the copy of this object. So we no need to use new keyword again to create the object. We can just create its duplicate copy by using clone function of the object class. And this will be discussed in the next video because it is lengthy topic. Okay, thanks for watching this video.